Hello and welcome to Love Anything Art. Today I'll show you how I made this funky, fun pattern necklace. Hey! Welcome to my channel. First I'm going to just show you the colors I'm going to use. I have this jewelry gold color and a little piece left over. And then this is a pretty teal blue color. And then this is a medium to dark blue color. You'll just want to take a little piece of each of those. And while I'm kind of working those, just want to welcome everybody to my channel. I appreciate you joining me and watching this video today, and I hope you enjoy it. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. And if you could give it a thumbs up or leave me a comment. Also, if you're a fan of Instagram, I have an Instagram account, so you can come find me over there. With each of those colors, just rolled them into a ball and then flattened them. I'm going to make them roughly the same size thickness. I'll roll one side and then flip it over and roll the other, and then work them each into a square shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of want them to be basically the same shape. Then I will stack them. I'm going to place the gold in the middle and then sandwich it between the two pretty blue colors. I'm going to gently press down with the palm of my hand and flip it over and kind of do the same. Basically, I have it into this square shape currently, and I am going to flatten it very slowly, just trying to keep it into that square shape. It will eventually become a blob, but just gently work it down so that you're smushing the layers together. All right, I've gotten it flattened out. Give it one final roll, and I do want it to be pretty thin, so I'm just going to take it between my fingers and just start gently pulling it. And this will stretch out the clay a little bit and thin it too. If you have a pasta machine and you want to roll it through there, you can try doing that too. I'm going to cut it down into a square shape once again. Just getting rid of those funky, messy ends. All right, now that I have that, I'm going to cut it directly in half. And then I will stack those two pieces together. When stacking, you want to make sure that you have the dark blue to the light blue. And I'm putting it cut side together, so you have a nice straight edge. And then again, I will cut it in half and then stack it again. And then just gently roll it to get all the layers connected. And then I'm going to make it so that the dark side blue faces up. And I'm going to make cuts into the clay. And I am going through the entire layers. Just keep cutting. I'm trying to make them all go generally in the same direction. And I will also curve some of those. Just give it a nice varying different lengths and depth between the cuts. You can make as many or few cuts as you would like. I like to be somewhere in the middle, not too much and not too little on the cuts. Then I will use the edge of my tissue blade and start pressing all of the pieces back together. And also you want to press down on the top to get everything connected. And I've also flipped it over to the other side and kind of doing the same thing. And then once I have it on a flat surface, I'll just start shaving off pieces. As you can see there, look quite pretty inside. And actually started to go a little too deep on this cut, so I'm going to just remove that piece there and then just press it back into place. That's kind of the beauty of this. It's messy and it doesn't matter. You can never tell if you've made a mistake. Just going to continue slicing off little thin slices. I'll just keep going until I've used up all my clay. And now that I have all my beautiful slices, I will begin to stack them together to form a thicker layer. I've made this triangle shape just out of a piece of paper and cut it. I do want my stack to be wide enough to cut out this triangle shape. But basically I'll just kind of just stack them all together. There is no rhyme or reason. If you have a cut that you like a whole lot or the pattern of it, just save it so you can place it on the very top of the stack. And that way you have that pattern showing through on top. Alright, now that I have my stack made, it is as wide as my triangle, so I can cut out a shape. Just place your triangle on top, and then just cut out the shape. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect on the cut. Everything will be blended together as each step goes on, so it doesn't matter if the edges are kind of jagged. And this is mine. And I do have it pretty thin, and I'm going to build up layers behind it, which I'll show you in just a moment. So it's okay that it's a little thin. And again, I have cut out a circle just using a piece of paper. I'm going to place that kind of in the middle of my triangle, and I will use my X-Acto knife and cut out that shape. And then I will save that little circle because I will use it in just a few minutes. Place my triangle on the back of a spoon and arrange it on there. Once I've done that, I will smooth out the inside rim where the circle is and go all the way around, smoothing it out. Once that's kind of how I like it, I will bake it. And this is it baked. I like it. It came out smooth. If your middle part is unsmooth, you can always use a piece of sanding paper. But I'm going to use two different colors. I got this elephant gray color and then this mint green color that I just kind of mixed and made. I will place the gray on the back of the spoon and then place my triangle right on top of that. Just get it a nice, flush, smooth surface, getting out any air bubbles. And then I'm going to cut out the center, and you'll want to pick a circle cutter that's not too small and not too large. You want to have a nice even ring around the inside, thick enough so you can see the color. And ultimately I'm going to go with this smaller one because I'm going to place this one underneath, and I'll show you that step in a minute. Just cut out as close to the center as possible. We are going to do some sanding after it's baked, so don't worry about any imperfections in there. And then remove that inner circle. And then cut away all of the excess gray that's kind of overlapping around the edge of the triangle. I'm just going to press everything gently into place there, and then I will bake it. Once baked, you can just pop it off the back of the spoon. I'm just going to use the edge of my tissue blade, and it comes off pretty easily. And now for the sanding. I want to make that inner gray circle much smaller than it is. So I'm just using a rolled up piece of sandpaper and rolling and rolling and rolling until I have it all cut away. And then also I'm going to do the back rim just to smooth it out a little bit. It won't be seen, so you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. And then I'm going to do the same with the green, placing on the back of the spoon, placing my triangle on the back of that. Again, cutting out a circle from the inner green, and then flipping that over and removing all excess green. And I need those two layers to stick together. They weren't really sticking, so I'm just going to put a little bit of Bacon Bond between the green and the gray. Just a little bit, and then place my triangle back on there and get it as centered as possible. Again, we will sand once this is baked. After it's been baked, again, I'm just going to take some sandpaper and I'm going to smooth out those edges. Again, you don't have to do that part. It won't be seen, but I do want it to be smooth. And then again, I'm going to make that inner circle a little bit smaller, and I'm going to kind of shave it back to right about there. Now it is all trimmed up and shaved and sanded down. Got a bunch of smooth edges here. Now for that circle, and this is that circle we cut out of the center of the triangle. We will not be wasting any clay here. I'm going to use that to hold all of my little bubbles I'm going to make. I just rolled out some white clay into a snake shape, and I'm cutting off various sized pieces, make them different sizes. And then with each of those cut sections, I'm just going to roll each of those into a ball. You do want large ones and small ones, medium. I'm going to place that on the inner portion of the spoon. And then I'm going to start placing on those balls just in a nice one even-sized layer. And that's kind of what it looks like. And I'm going to be using some alcohol inks. I have chosen 4 colors I'm going to use. You can use as many or few colors as you would like. I have cherry, lemon, a bubblegum, and a candy. With each of those, do be sure to shake them up. I'm going to take a small paintbrush and I'm just going to start painting on those colors. I'm not worried about color bleed or anything like that. I'm just going to mix them on here so the colors will kind of mix together. I think it'll make it look really nice in the end. Kind of blend those colors up a little bit. I really like that pink bubblegum color. But keep going until you have all of those colored in. And this is mine, and I need to wait for it to dry a little bit before the next part. With the second layer I'm going to put on top, I put those on a piece of paper, and I'm just going to color each of those with all 4 of my colors. And then let those dry a little bit. And then start placing those on top, kind of in the little cracks and crevices of the bottom layer. Just kind of building up my layers here. Make sure they're all stuck in there nice and good together. And that is what it looks like. And I will bake that in the oven. Once it is baked, I want to make like little highlights on top of the balls. So I'm just using a fine grit sandpaper, kind of going over the top, and it'll give it like a little spotlight dome color on the top. It'll pull some of that white back out. I don't know, I just thought it kind of made it look more dimensional. Kind of like the way it looks. And again, I've rolled out some more of that clay, stacked it up just like I did the first layer. And now I'm going to start building my piece. I do need the centerpiece to fit in between my top triangle and what will be my bottom triangle. My piece in the middle is rather thick, so I'm going to place that on what will be the back of my clay and then start wrapping that around just a little bit right on the edge of the triangle that's baked, gently pressing in with my fingers along the edge or the rim. And this is just to mark where it's going to sit so I can cut it. Don't want to press all the way through, just enough to make a little indent into the clay. Once you have that all the way around, just peel it back. Remove your top triangle and your little centerpiece of bubbles. And you'll see, you can see the line right there. Just cut that out. Just using an X-Acto knife. You can use the edge of your tissue blade too. And then I will start assembling it back together. Just gently pressing in right there where the 2 pieces of clay meet together. And then you can just use your finger and just gently swipe it over the 2 edges, and you'll get a nice, smooth, connected piece. A little close-up for you. And it blends in quite nice, and you can't tell where one ends and one begins. And I did bake it, so it's all good and ready to go. And I'm going to put a layer of resin on my piece. I'm going to resin everywhere. Woo! Everywhere but the very center where the bubbles are. So basically just where the patterned clay is all around the outside. And I do need to hang my necklace, so I am going to use this little funky fun little hanging doodad. I'm just kind of measuring where I want it to sit. And then I'm just going to drill a hole. You could do this before you bake the clay if you do not have a drill. Once you have that hole drilled, just put your little finding clip in there and make sure it can move around very freely. That way your piece doesn't snap and break. And I just put a necklace chain on it and it's all good to go. I do like the way this turned out. I do like the pattern. You could probably make earrings or other necklaces, rocks and gems out of this pattern. It's quite pretty, I think. It's got a lot going on in it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you would be so generous as to hit that subscribe button, I would appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed this. And you know, as always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.